What's going on, guys? Legit MHX here, back with another Spider-Man PS4 video, and I'm finally doing my sort of feedback, criticism, constructive criticism video that I initially said in my previous video that I was gonna make. So basically, what this video is basically gonna be is me sort of giving my feedback on Spider-Man PS4 in terms of criticism, in terms of constructive criticism. Why? Because of the latest stuff that's happened. Basically, in D23, at the interview, Brian Intar basically, he basically said that he heard the fans and everyone's opinions, and he heard the feedback, and he improved the web swinging, because the web swing being slow was the one problem that, like, a lot of people had, and they listened and they improved. And from that, as well as two other YouTubers that make Spider-Man PS4 videos, known as Venom 2 Million and the amazing Lucas, I got inspired to make this video. Why? Because it's crucial that we have you know, a video that actually gives feedback and criticizes the game to make sure that we actually get that ultimate Spider-Man experience. Like Brian Intar said, he's trying to deliver a Spider-Man game that will give the fans an ultimate Spider-Man experience, and we can help them develop the game and make it truly an amazing game, unlike anything ever before, by giving them feedback and stuff like that. So this video is not in particular going to be me you know, criticizing, like hating on it. It's just going to be me nitpicking some of the stuff that I did notice, and also you know, saying what can be improved and how it can be improved, etc, etc. So again, I do want to give a shout out to Venom 2 Million and the amazing Lucas, because at the time they were people that were like, hold on, take a step back, let's just look at the game and see what it's really showing to us. And they were really, like, you know, honest and true to it, and especially the amazing Lucas. I mean, his videos are incredible, analyzing Spider-Man PS4 and how it can be improved. So I do give him a massive shout out, as well as Venom 2 Million. And I'll talk about amazing Lucas a bit more later on, because he did make a really good video that I recommend every single one of you to actually go and watch. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the video with 2 minutes of shipping into the actual video. So basically, I've got sort of 5-ish sort of things that I want to go and talk about in depthly. So the first one is, you guys can probably guess it, is the quick time events, the QTEs. I'm not going to be talking about this too much because literally everyone's talked about it, but I'm going to give my own opinion and also link it back to amazing Lucas. So basically, the QTEs, Spider-Man PS4, the gameplay demo that we did get, half of it was basically a QTE. Now, does that mean that half the game is going to be a QTE? No. Does that mean that, you know, the entire thing's going to be filled with QTEs? No. Does that mean that QTEs are bad? No, it doesn't mean any of that. But QTEs do and like they can, and they have in the past, in the original past Spider-Man games, they have taken out a lot of experience, and they've taken out a lot of fun, and sort of the actual fun of the game has been taken out due to the existence of QTEs within the actual game. So this is what I'm trying to express, and my fear of that maybe it can be drowned a bit too much in QTEs and sort of feel either repetitive and get boring. I don't think that will happen, but that's what my fear is of happening. That's the worst case scenario, but I don't think that will happen. Basically, what we did see was, you know, the crane scene, and, you know, like helicopter scene, all that stuff. There was also like there was these like QTEs, you know, just sprinkled around in there, and there are many ways to improve this. I think this is one thing that Insomniac should look at doing, because it's not something too difficult in implementing. I don't think, I mean, I'm not a developer or anything, but it doesn't seem like something that's too difficult in implementing. Basically, the amazing Lucas, let's link it back to him. He made a video where he sort of changed the QTE sequences in the entire game. I mean, in the entire gameplay demo. You know, the link to that video will be in the description or on screen or something like that. But, you know, he changed those small things where if you're on the crane scene, you have to time it, where you have to actually move your joystick and stuff and actually do the animation, and like it's as if you're actually playing it, not just starting an event, you know, pressing a button and it'll do an animation, and then you press another button and it'll do another animation. You want to actually play through it, and that's what amazing Lucas sort of fixed sort of in the actual gameplay demo. So he put like on the screen different things that you have to do when the QT sequences happen, And I think it really does work. I think that does solve a big part of the QTEs, and it makes them more interactive. And you know, it like that tiny thing that literally does almost nothing will make you feel more you know, immersed into the actual game. And it will be a sort of simple fix for the QTEs. Now, what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to reference back to Ratchet and Clank, because that's a game that Insomniac's already made, and it's a good reference point as well, because I'm like the biggest Ratchet and Clank fan as well, besides Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man in general. Basically, I think in the past they've done a lot of QTE. Not QTEs, a lot of these set pieces that they did into the Spider-Man PS4 gameplay demo. The one that does come to mind, there's plenty of them in the entire Ratchet & Clank series, but the one that does come to mind, I'll try to get on the screen. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Hopefully will. The one that does come to mind is Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction in the early mission, in the first Metropolis mission, where I don't even remember, you're going to Cork or something. It doesn't matter, those are details. Basically, the one that does come to mind is that you're on a bridge, and you're basically trying to get from one place to the other, and the bridge is like getting destroyed. Your enemies are fighting and like destroying and stuff. What Insomniac could have done in that sequence is have it where you press some button, so you jump over, like, you know, some broken parts of the bridge and stuff. But no, they made that part completely playable. So it's like the camera's moving and you got to keep up. You got to make sure that you dodge everything. You know, you don't actually die or anything, get hit or anything, stuff like that. You're actually in full control to a certain degree, not like how you normally would. Camera goes a different angle, you know, it goes more cinematic style. But you are in a degree of control where it's still really interactive, and if you stuff up, you'll die. It's not just like, oh, if you miss a button at the same timing, you'll die. No, you have to control it. You have to make sure that you don't fall or anything like that. I'll try to get it up on screen, but you guys should understand. And there's plenty of these within the entire Ratchet & Clank franchise, and I do think they will probably implement this into the, you know, into Spider-Man PS4, but it's just like, you know, say in the crane sequence you could actually be moving as Spider-Man, and like there might be different options for you to take to actually save the crane. Obviously you need to go really fast, so it might be a difficult thing to do, and you might have to try over and over again. You know, maybe you can like web on the right building and like fling around and jump down or something like that, and like make like sort of a hammock for the something creative like that, where it's like there are different options but they all lead to the final point. Again, it's like just it's like the sequence is just changed up, put more options in there, it makes it more interactive. That's not exactly what the bridge scene was in Ratchet & Clank, but that's another suggestion as well. But I have full trust in Insomniac that they will be able to deliver QTEs that are really perfect. So don't worry about anything, guys. I'm not trying to make you guys worry or something. This is just me giving feedback and sort of getting the attention of some of these small things that can be changed to have a big impact and make the game that much more better. So the next thing that I am going to be covering is the combat. The combat isn't too much, but basically there's two things that I am concerned about regarding the combat, and basically the first one is the slow motion. I think it's when his Spidey sense kicks in, it goes a bit slow motion. But at times in the beginning combat fight, it did feel like there was a bit too much slow motion. You know, you want to be able to, it just like it stops the flow. You know, it's flowing nice and stuff, and then just slows down a bit. It stops the flow. It'd be cool to have like a bit of slow motion in there, like some final final hits or something, I don't know. But like it was like constantly, every single hit was almost like a slow motion thing, and I think that should be changed, a bit slow motion taken out, so it's a bit more fast paced and stuff, because Spider-Man's a really fast paced character, and I know maybe that's why they implemented the slow motion. They can have the slow motion, but if they do it right. So, you know, you don't want to have combat that's just like you're going fast and then just slows down, and then you're going fast again. You want to have like this nice flowing speed where it feels satisfying once you go into the slow motion, and it's not like interrupting your actual gameplay and your fun. The next thing that I'm going to be talking about in terms of combat is the boss combat. We haven't seen a proper boss. I mean, Mr. Negative really wasn't. It was more of a set piece type of thing. But we saw that big brawler in a demon type guy, the big in a demon. That boss fight, you know, it didn't feel that strong. It felt a bit weak in my opinion. It was a bit cool when you, like, you know, you flinged one of those objects, like it was a sandbag or something, you flinged it on him, but then the rest of it was literally punch, dodge, punch, kill. knockdown or something. It didn't really have any differentiation, and I know Brian Intihar did say that we're trying to make sure that, you know, it's Spider-Man, we're trying to make sure that every single thing is different, you know, it has a variety of options to fight with, and maybe it's because it's one of the early missions that it doesn't have that much variation, but it variates as it goes on. But that's something to talk about, you know, something to wonder and something to look into as well, because you want to make sure that it doesn't get very stale. Like, say the next 5 boss fights are exactly the same. You don't want that happening, right? You know, that'll get really boring really easily, and it just won't be fun doing it. And I'm sure they will change it up. That's like that's like Insomniac's speciality. You know, in Ratchet and Clank PS4, literally there were these one-time missions or one-time things that happened that only happened once in the entire story, and it was really refreshing to play those things, and it was something completely different. You know, stuff like when you're on the turret on Ratchet and Clank PS4. You know, some of the free roam, you know, collecting missions. What else are there? Like, you know, grind boot stuff, all that stuff. You know, the jetpack stuff. It was just like, there were a lot of unique stuff that happened only once in the game, and it did make it more refreshing and make it more fun to play, and, you know, it gave that replayability to it, so you can come back to it, play the game again, and you'll experience those parts that you find really interesting and fun again. So that's pretty much it in terms of combat, you know, differentiating, and I'm sure they will do it because you know, it's Insomniac, they've always done it, they're a master at doing that. But yeah, the next thing that I will be covering is the web swinging. Hold on, my Audacity has stopped working. Hold on. Okay, for some reason. Okay, I don't know. But the web swinging, basically, this is one of the main ones that I want to talk about. Is the web? It's not that big. It's really nitpicky. I didn't notice at first, but it's the web swinging pose. Basically, after you've done one swing, Spider-Man will go into this pose, and it happens every single web swing. There is zero changes in the animation, so you can do one web swing, another web swing, another web swing, and between all of those web swings, it's the same animation where he, you know, gets off the web, and then he does this sort of like, you know, the superhero, he's like, you know, his pose where he's like got his arms up and his legs down, and he's ready to do another web swing. I feel like that's like a bit, it's not lazy, but it's something that can make it sort of robotic and mechanical, you know. That's sort of like, you know, the Amazing Lucas said it perfectly. He said it's more like a Tobey Maguire type of web swinging, where it's very linear and it's very smooth, but we want more of an Andrew Garfield type web swing, in my opinion. In my opinion, I want an Andrew Garfield type web swinging, and we do get that later on in the D23 gameplay, where we literally see sort of like a remake of an Andrew Garfield web swing, where he, like, you know, runs up the building and then swings, like puts a web down and then swings over it, sort of something like that. So I do feel like they will do that with the web swinging, but in terms of the animation, I feel like they hopefully. They have to. I mean, it would make a really big difference. It's a small thing that will really change everything. They need to make sure that they change the animations as you go, and it's something that I think can be done in the polishing stage. It's just like, you know, once you're out of your web, you like, maybe you can't even go into that pose every time, but it's just like how you leave that web and you're like twisting around. Say, even like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 did it, TASM 2 did it, where they did it pretty alright, but Insomniac, even if they tried, I'm pretty sure they can easily beat that, where it's just like when you leave it, you're like flowing and stuff, and it's like twisting around, you know, the physics really come into it. That's Andrew Garfield's where physics really came into it. Put a web in one direction and you'll go flying that way and stuff like that. It's just like less linear and more, you know, yes, it's physics based, but a bit more differentiation when you actually like swinging. So that's the main one in terms of web swinging pose. I want to hear what you guys think about that. I've heard a lot of people actually comment on it, and that's how I exactly found it. And then I saw Amazing Lucas also talk about it, which was pretty good. And the next one, it's not that big, it's just a possible concern. We don't know anything about it, so there's nothing that really shows this, is the story of the actual game and the length of it. Now the story, the one thing that they do have to avoid is it being super crammed and sort of feeling, useless, you know. You don't want to have characters in there that have no point of being in there. You don't want to have villains that you don't even remember at the end of the game. You want to have like every single scene has to be memorable, and there has to be something, and I think they're doing it perfectly right now, where one thing links to another and you're just like, whoa. And I really feel like they will do that with the story. I don't feel like they'll cram it. Like we've already seen Mr. Negative, Kingpin, and Miles Morales as also Captain Yuri Watanabe, and there's also, they said there's a huge cast, so hopefully it doesn't feel crammed, and they need to make sure, you know, make it flow, make it space out where it links everything. It's not just like, oh, this guy's here, we need to save him, oh, there's another guy here. Like, you know, a really nice, it's sort of linear story where it's just, you know, it's like all of this stuff is just linked together. But the next thing is the length, which I don't have a single problem with. Every single Ratchet & Clank game that Insomniac's made has been quite long, you know, except the new Ratchet & Clank PS4 game, but that was a remake, which was about like 10 to 12 hours, I think, or 10 to 14 hours, something like that. But every single Ratchet & Clank game in the past has been like 12 plus hours. It was like 12, 15, I think one had 18, I think even one of the original Ratchet & Clanks had 21 hours, and it was quite a bit, and that's just the story. The completion is like 50-40 hours, something like that. But Spider-Man PS4, the length, they should aim for something around 15 hours. You don't want to go too high to like 25 or something, because that will feel crammed, and you don't want to go too less because there's quite a bit of stuff in the actual you know, game. So that's something that they need to make sure that the length is good, and they don't know it yet because they haven't actually answered. But yeah. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. That was pretty much everything that I do want to cover in terms of the criticism. Again, this isn't hating on it. It's just pointing out some of the key stuff that can be improved within the actual game. And hopefully we can talk about it more, and eventually Insomniac might hear some of these stuff and actually improve it, and we'll get a really good Spider-Man game. So again, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Remember to check out The Amazing Lucas as well as Venom 2 Million. And like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. And this was once again Legit MHX signing out.